Welcome to Otaku Time Machine, a show that takes you through the anime archives of yesteryears. I'm your captain in training, Drew Tendo64, and I'm here with the main skipper, Magically Average.
Hello.
Hi, everybody, and today we're doing Wotakoi, or Otaku ni ko wa Muzukashi.
Nailed it.
Perfect.
Why did they name it Wotakoi? Because wouldn't it just be easier just to name it what the translation is, which is love is hard for an otaku?
Well, a lot of things in Japan get really cool, like shortened names, like,
Yeah.
oh, my brain just forgot one. But like,
We
if
also translate things dumbly here.
oh yeah, extremely barbarically and like to the point, um,
All the Ghibli
like,
films are named like really poorly here.
oh yeah, we went over that. Like, and even if we look at the most recent, The Boy and the Heron, like the Heron is in the movie for all of 20 minutes.
Right. Well, it's also that movie is based off of like an old story. We're getting like off railed so fast already. This is
That's
what
why we need
happens.
Frank.
This is what yeah, this is why this is what happens when we have the whole crews like in training for this series. But yeah, we're talking about Wotakoi, Love is Hard for an Otaku. And I love this. This is my first time watching. I don't know about you, but
It's so when it was airing, I just kind of had stuff in the background like being queued up for me. And I would just hop in and watch whatever was ready. And I watched the first two episodes. And then the first one I was like, okay, this is cute, this is fun, I might like it. And the second one episode was like, okay, I'm hooked, I'm ready, I'm excited because like as you can clearly see, I'm an otaku as well. I don't know
look
if you
at
can
us.
see magic. Yeah, like look at us, right?
All of my
And you're
posters and pictures behind
yeah,
me.
exactly. And then when stuff starts hitting you in the feels and you're like, okay, like I've lived through that or this really resonates with me, you're like, okay, I'm going to promise myself I'm going to get into this. And then I don't know what was happening in 2018, maybe other shows that were more popular came out, but it went on my back burner. So when I started rewatching it again, I must agree. I fell in love with it. It's just, you know what, it's something cool to relax to, and especially if you have like someone with you who's important in your life and they're getting into anime, or your best friends into anime, or whoever in your life is important to you is into anime. Like this is a really good show to like watch with someone because it doesn't take too much to get invested in. It's just more like, oh, okay, like I've seen this happen before, or like
Yeah.
I too have been nervous to share like my certain hobbies about horse girls with family.
It's
And like
it's a
these
tough thing to bring up to the fam at
yeah.
at your holiday dinner.
Oh yeah, it's like, oh Drew, what did you accomplish this year? Well, like I started playing the Gundam TCG. I was ranked 20th. I really like these horse girls that are anime
I completed
girls.
all of the careers of my favorite Uma Musume characters, and they're like, "We need to get you to a doctor." Uh but yeah, no, I completely agree. If you're unaware of what the koi is about, it follows our main. Well, there's like a cast of 4 plus extra,
Yeah.
I guess, but it is our main character Hirotaka Nifuji and Naru Momose, who are both wild otakus in their own right. Hirotaka is big into gaming. Naru is big into like shojo and BL. Uh, and they were friends growing up, and they reconnected after Naru gets placed at a new job where Hirotaka works. And then it's a very, to what you were saying, Drew, it's a very like wholesome tale about how you can become more comfortable in your hobbies and your interests when you're surrounded by others of the same ilk, we'll say. And the other two characters, I'm gonna forget their name. I just spiky hair dude.
Kamakura, yeah,
Yeah, Kabakura and
and Hanako
Hanako
or
Koyonagi, I think.
Koyanagi. Yeah,
Yeah.
you got it.
I just know him as Bastard and Old Hag because that's what they call each other.
And they're
It's
in love.
yeah. It's all about like the whole premise is like being an adult and embracing your hobbies, like not hiding yourself anymore, because the whole story, like the beginning portion of the season, and we're gonna jump right into spoilers because this is what we do on Otaku Time Machine, so get with it. Here we go. The whole story for the first half is like Momose talking about how she always had to hide her true identity from her love interests, and it never worked out, but she always went after the same type of guys, the bad boys that were mean to her, and then they would dump her usually. And so first episode, you get the reconnection with the childhood friend Hirotaka, and he's like, well, why don't we try it out? We're both otakus, you don't have to hide it, we both like the same things, let's try dating. And they were like, sure, why not? And it never, you were like, whoa, this is crazy. It's a romance anime where we get like the couple together in the first episode. Wow, I can't, what's going to happen? It's going to be like, they're going to do it by the end of the season at this pace. I'm like, my God. And then like by episode 6, you're like, are they, what happened? Are they dating? What's going on?
Do they
Is
know
it,
they're really
yeah.
in a relationship?
Well, that's like a joke that happens at one point. It's presented as a joke, but it's like a serious moment for Hirotaka, where he's like, I don't even know if we're dating. I don't even think she thinks that we're dating, right? So it's
Mhm.
like it that comes about, and it's really funny to see how they navigate through. And then obviously you have the more experienced otaku couple where they're like, oh no, we're unabashedly like openly nerdy with one another. We're also openly really mean to each other too. But that's just how our relationship is. And so they kind of learn from them too, as like navigating through as a young couple in a situation where like one hasn't ever really dated before, the other has not dated people in her circle, right? So it's a lovely anime, and I think I would only argue one point that you made so far, Drew, in that I think you watch this with the person only if they're also interested in anime, because I feel like
Yes, 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 yes.
it's something that you wouldn't be able to connect with if you're like forcing a significant other or a friend to watch it and they have like no interest in anime,
True,
because you
true.
won't have that connect. Well, I'll say like if you have a quote unquote nerddom that you both collectively enjoy, then you can probably find like a common ground, right? But like for me, I know like my wife had watched it before I did, and I'm sure we'll watch it together soon at some point if we have free time. And like that would be lovely for us, but we're gonna pick on him because he's not here to defend himself. Frank and his wife, not be a fun time because his wife is not a fan of anime whatsoever. So it's like you have to still have that level of connectivity with whoever you're watching it with, I think, just because like that's the whole premise of this anime, is like being with someone who is like your identical. It's a mirror match, just in a different otaku realm, right?
Exactly.
It's fun. And I will say this too, any workplace romance, aka like adult cast romance, usually will get a thumbs up for me. This one executed it very well, so it gets 2 thumbs up for me. So I adored
Ooh.
this.
I really liked it too because it's not just that everyone's fandom is the exact same. It's not just like a bunch of people who are like, "Oh, I like Final Fantasy. Do you like Final Fantasy? I like Final Fantasy." And the one person's like, "I like Chrono Trigger." No.
They're like, boo, get out of here.
Get out of here. You haven't had a game in decades. But no, we have Narumi, and she's really into, like we said, BL and like pretty things and anime and a specific character. Um, Hirotaka, he's more into like he's always seen playing a PSP, so he's playing like Monster Hunter. He's playing the JRPGs. At one point, they play like a Fantasy Star Online type game. Um, Kobakura, he's more into like the fantasy, the hero animes, but he's also into like
Yeah, I think he's got like a Yuri kick, right? I'm pretty sure he's into Yuri because there's like a whole like scene. I like in the last episode. I'm only saying this because it's like fresh on the top of my mind because I recently watched it. But he has like a whole back and forth with Konoyagi or Konoyagi, where he makes fun of her for reading BL and questioning it. And she's like, well, what if I said the same thing about you and Yuri? And he makes like a really
He showed.
evil face. So,
Yeah,
but yeah,
I'm back.
hello. Yeah, I was, we seamlessly went into me talking and pretended like nothing happened.
All
Um,
right.
but yeah, it's that's what's really enjoyable. To your point, and then Konoyagi is mainly on like the BL side. She's into cosplaying too, right? And
Yeah, she's a
Kaba,
famous cosplayer.
Kabakura is also big into like figure collecting too. He has a lot of
That's right.
figures. So they all have like their somewhat niche-ish area
Exactly.
within the otaku space. But yeah, it's always fun to see how they interact, and kind of each character has their own dedicated ish episode where like you get to see more of them and their personality, right? So
Yeah, and
there's like one episode where it's mostly cosplaying. There's another episode where it's them going shopping for manga and they're like mainly the BL side and stuff. Kabakura doesn't really have his own episode, albeit he has like a redemption arc in an episode, we'll say, which is it's nice because he always comes across as very like stern and um not emotionless, but a bit more like
intense.
closed. Yeah, like he not open type, right? Not one to share
Yeah.
feelings, not one to really express how he feels or thinks about someone directly. He's more like indirect and aloof with it. He's like a male tsundere, we'll say. um
Yeah, I like that.
but yeah, it's I like that aspect too. And then we get a few episodes. I wish there was more, honestly, of this anime in general, and I wish there was more of this character. But Hirotaka's brother Naoya,
Yes.
we see him a little bit sprinkled throughout, but he has a heavy part in the last two episodes because he starts to get into a friendship because I don't believe he knows that who he's talking to and interacting with is a girl or a
Yeah.
woman, but he establishes a relationship or a friendship with someone who reminds him of his brother because they're like really into gaming and like kind of alone and shy. And he was like, "Oh, I want to befriend them because I'm getting very reminiscent of the time growing up with my brother." So like that budding relationship was really cute to see. But no, top to bottom, I absolutely love this. I will ask questions because I know that's what Frank usually does.
Yeah.
Is there a particular character that you connected with the most? Like you felt like I have, like either, whether it's the personality or their interests, like someone that you felt like, oh yeah, I can really see myself in them within this
So
friend group.
yeah. So it's a little of I like I have the passion when I pick something up and I love it, like Momo. So like I tried like very much in college, like because I'm old. Naruto was first airing. There was no dub. So I had friends, we literally all went home and we would burn different episodes on CD and then trade them around. So like we were all like heavily into Naruto, and I was like, you guys, like, you won't believe this show. It's going to be on par with Dragon Ball. Like, it's amazing. And it was like our close knit group of like four people who were obsessed with Naruto, trying to like get this show on the road, so to speak. Right?
Piece it
Yeah,
all
yeah,
together.
yeah, exactly. And who do you think his dad is, and all this crazy, insane stuff. And it got to a point where we made like a separate little group. We made an anime club, and things went off the rails from there. But like being that passionate about something and seeing someone carry that into adulthood was really like, again, was what I found in Momo. But the Kaba, Kabakura's collecting of figures, like that's why I'm a VTuber. I am very much ashamed to show you what my room looks like, because there's Gundam models, there's Transformers, I have Frieren stuck in a mimic on my desk. I have a chubby little Sasuke. Like there's so much crap in here that I would be embarrassed to open it up to the world. But it's one of those things like you're passionate about something, and this is what I'll impart onto the audience. If you're passionate about something and you love something, don't ever let go of it. Um, Enjoy it and share it with the people you love, because like those are going to be the people that matter, and those are going to be the people that hype you up about your passions.
1000% agree. Yeah, you can only see a portion if you're watching this podcast on YouTube. You can only see a portion of my wall, but just know that further away is a mountain of anime figures like everywhere. So I'm all over the place. Um, I don't know if you'll be surprised when I say this because I feel like truthfully this is the character I probably align myself more closely with. But I had a real connection with Hirotaka mainly because like I was always okay doing things on my own, but I didn't have a problem interacting with other people, right? So like cuz he his character comes off as very kind of like cold and
Yes.
apathetic to a degree, right? Like doesn't really have any interest in talking with others or interacting with many other people. But
Mhm, mhm.
if you start talking and conversing with him like characters do throughout the series, like he'll talk, he'll have a conversation, like he'll communicate. Like he's not going to like shy away or you know go off and be like sorry, bye. So, but he's like totally content doing things on his own. And I felt like that was me throughout a lot of like high school and college and even like law school where I was totally fine like locking myself away for a weekend if I had free time and just like playing games or catching up on shows or you know I'm a big sports person too like just watching endless amounts of football during the football season or hockey or whatever the case is, right? Totally fine. I was also cool spending an entire weekend with friends, like going out to dinner or events, concerts, whatever the case was, right? But I kind of like floated in between. So I feel like even though personality wise, I feel like I'm more energetic and extroverted than he is. A lot of like moments in the anime I'm like, wow, I have a really like I can relate to that. Like having the like I think it was the last episode actually. He was like it was the I assume it was Golden Week where basically every major corporation in Japan like everyone has the full, like a full week off across the entirety of Japan. I believe that's what they were insinuating because they just said a vacation week. And they had it was a flashback moment where Momose was like, I wonder what he's doing this last day of our vacation. All he said was he's gonna play games. And like it flashes back to the office and he's like, I haven't had time to play video games. I'm locking myself in my apartment and I'm playing through this new video game that I've been dying to play. And I'm like, bro, totally relate. I'm like, for sure. Now, like I play a lot of solo player games, but like you know through college and stuff, I like to play multiplayer games with friends and whatnot. But it was still like you know remote,
Yeah.
right? It's only like online. It's not like I'm having a bunch of people come over for like a LAN party or anything. So like, but there were just so many scenes throughout where I'm like, yes, I 100% on board, am that person for sure. But I think the nice thing was that I kind of saw myself in almost every character just based on like
Yeah.
their interests and how they express themselves, right? Like Momose talks about when she was dating, like having to navigate the whole having like stuff on her bag or like a background art of a specific anime. Like she had to change it and like disguise herself to make sure like none of her love interests were uh thrown off by anything and this and maybe investigated too much into her hobbies, we'll say.
Yeah, because she's
Um,
a dojin writer, right?
yes,
She
she's a
that's what she was
dojinshi.
embarrassed about. Yeah, yes, yes, yes.
Well, I mean, not even that far, right? She just didn't want any guy to know that she was an otaku,
That
like
too, yeah.
at all, right? Meanwhile, looking at my work backpack, I've got a little plushie of Megumin from Jujutsu Kaisen
Ah,
that I got at Universal Studios when I was in Japan, and he's eating a little like tempura chicken thing or something.
aw.
I've got a Kirby plushie from the Kirby Cafe in Japan. And then I've got a big acrylic of Dungeon Meshi or Delicious in Dungeon. And it's my work backpack,
Oh,
and I take it into work and I walk around with it.
no.
I'm like, I don't
My
care.
work my work backpack is very similar where it was one of the limited release from Herschel. It's a Star Wars backpack.
Nice.
So it's got like this braiding on the outside that's like Ahsoka Tano's like crest. And when you unzip it, the inside is like patterned like her Liku, or well, she's not a Twi'lek, she's Togruta, so it's her. Anyways,
Yeah, yeah,
it's
yeah.
patterned like her white and blue stuff. And then on the one zipper, I have it looks like a postcard from Tatooine. It's like Visit Sunny Tatooine, and it's got um, like Uncle Ben and Aunt Beru's corpses.
No, no. What is
and
wrong with
then
you?
and then on the other side of it is like a
Evil.
stormtrooper. But then also dangling from the main pocket zipper, I like the Five Below nearest had a bunch of the mystery pack of Chainsaw Man
Oh yeah,
bag buddies, and I got power, and I'm like, yes, I'm
yeah.
putting
Yeah.
power on my bag.
Hell yeah.
So it was a conversation when I got to work. They're like, oh, they're like, that's a cute anime girl on your bag. And I was like, well, let me explain to you who and what she is.
Let me.
So, and
How much time do you
yeah,
have right now for me to walk you
yeah,
through some of
just
this
sit there and you're
backstory?
like, so you, I see you are a fan as well. And they're
Yeah,
like, absolutely not. I
you
like
are. You have mighty fine taste, good person.
my
Um,
lady. Yeah, it was one of my coworkers who like their fun evening is like curling up with a book and a heated blanket, and they are very like tame in their interests. So it was really funny to be like,
oh,
here's my interest, and they were like, that's so cool. And I've never had that reaction, so it was fun.
I was gonna say, kind of going back to your one, like your last comment you made
Yeah,
too. I, I think when I can't remember what point I was in school where I had like I had a moment, and it was kind of like a fuck it moment where I realized that it didn't make sense for me to pretend like I wasn't a fan of something just because of how people would perceive me, right? Like, and I think it was mainly spun like it was a culmination of having the realization like you first off you shouldn't be ashamed of whatever you like, right? It's not something to
yeah,
be ashamed of, but also it was a realization that I didn't really fit one particular group going up. So like I played hockey throughout my whole life, and then in high school I played on the varsity golf team. I was athletic. I was smart. I went to like a charter or a satellite school, basically, in like a higher elevated program throughout high school. Um, I was a big video game nerd too. Like I loved playing video games. I loved reading manga. I started collecting One Piece and Bleach when I was in middle school and was reading manga in class. I also was like a heavy, like a hard rock, heavy metal screamo kid too, right? So I wore band shirts and stuff,
we
right?
all were.
So I didn't like. There wasn't one group that I fit in, and so I like migrated, and like I kind of like became friends with like a lot of different groups in my school. Like my graduating class was only like 67 people. So small
Oh
class.
wow,
Yeah, that's how small my school was. But like even in middle school when I was in a larger school system, like I was like with the nerd people, and then I went played hockey with my hockey friends. So it was like the more like I guess jock people. And then I had like my video game buddy group, right? So like all of them I didn't fit into one, right? And so at some point in high school, I kind of had like this epiphany moment of like, I shouldn't really hide any of this. Like, there shouldn't be any
hmm
part of me that's like pretending like I don't enjoy something that's an interest or a hobby of mine. And like, because you see things. I guess this was kind of before, obviously, the big social media boom too. So that it did help. I'll say
yeah,
like the online bullying and stuff. But like I didn't have the pressure of being like, well, what if people think like I'm a weirdo because I say I watch Japanese cartoons on the weekend and I really like it, or like I'm reading a book and it flips the opposite direction of other books that everyone else reads because it's from Japan, right? or whatever. I was like, I don't. I, it shouldn't matter, right? I shouldn't care about it because I like it. So I
Hmm.
remember I had that early on, and I've kind of lived by it ever since too. And that's why, like, when I bring that stuff into work and I don't care, and people make comments and they're all positive comments, it's like, oh, that's cute, or oh, that's interesting, or
Yeah,
like your
tell me
situation,
more.
they ask questions, yeah. And like,
Yeah.
I still golf now, and I golf with coworkers, and obviously it's cold right now. So I'm wearing a hoodie, but like who's watched the videos or seen TikToks too, they know like I have a bunch of anime tattoos. So when I go golfing with coworkers, they all see my anime tattoos. They don't make comments. They don't give me like weird looks, right? Like, and I think it's just hard as a kid, right, to
Yes.
get your mind around that, because having the social perception of being like cool or like in the popular group is like so top of mind that most kids
Yep.
will be like, that means I can't show them or know that, have them know that I like playing video games, or I like reading manga or watching Japanese cartoons, or I like whatever other nerdy things, right, that you can list in there. So
Well,
I just, it's I know it's hard for kids, but I've always lived by, and I've preached to others, even like some of our friends' kids that are growing up, right? Always told them, like, never hide who you are. Like, you should be able to say, this is who I am, and you should like me for who I am. And if you can't, then that's your issue, right?
mhm.
That's not mine. So I think this anime epitomizes that to like the umpteenth degree, where it's like Momose is kind of the initial, has that moment early on in the anime where it's like, I shouldn't feel like I have to be ashamed or hide my true identity. I should feel like I'm comfortable in my own skin and be open and honest with who I am. And it's like, yes, please,
Exactly.
thank you. Say that message. And it being in an adult cast one is even like more fulfilling, because it's like you can relate to it now at our age, right? Being like, yeah,
Mhm.
who cares? My coworkers think they could think I'm weird for liking anime and reading manga and going to conventions across the US, whatever. But that's who I am. And
Exactly.
there's
And
nothing wrong with that.
no, and everyone's boat's different, right? So like
Yep.
it's a great show that teaches the lesson of like everyone's going to like something different. Find something you have in common, and even though like we have Hirotaka who's like diehard gamer, like never going to give that up. He's still invested in like the anime the game's based off of, right? And so that's how him and Momo, like how they bridge their gap, right? So
Yeah.
it's finding that commonality. And even if like to anyone who's listening and watching and thinking like you like certain show or you like certain hobby and nobody else likes that, no, there's hundreds if not thousands if not dozens of people who enjoy what you enjoy, because like again I'm old, and when I was in high school it was kind of like ew gross anime, but now as an adult with a teenager, like I'm the cool person because I can make a Naruto reference, or I know who Luffy is, or like Frankie loves cola, and all this like insert memes. And
Monkey D.
like
Luffy.
oh yeah, personally him and I go way back. um no, I haven't interviewed him. I interviewed David Vincent, who's the English voice for Grimjaw, though,
I'm so
in
jealous.
Bleach. Yeah. And Krillin. Oh, why am I blanking on his name all of a sudden? I've interviewed Krillin. Yeah, anyways. But like to make those references and connect even with like to show up to our teenagers' friends, like love what you love. And there's gonna be someone out there who thinks you're cool. So
Yeah.
again, watch this show, have fun. Everyone in it is very interesting. And if you think you have that one friend who is like, I don't like anything, that's now.
Yeah.
He's just happy, he's cute, he's go lucky, and he just wants to have friends. So,
Basically just a
like,
golden
again,
retriever.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
And it like just him watching like creeping over the shoulder while who is it, Kokun
Co.
is
Yeah.
like, yeah, Ko's like playing Monster Hunter. I'll just keep using that example. But he's like, oh, that's how you did. Oh, he's not even taking damage.
Yeah.
Oh, he must be really good. And then I've been in that kind of situation where I'm the person that wants to try and engage. And it's like, oh, that's really neat. And the person's like, excuse me, run away. And you're like, oh man, I fucked that
Yeah. You're like,
up.
uh-oh. I like to think that we're saying this message and someone's gonna be like, yeah, yeah, glory to the foot fetish people, and we're like, whoa, hang on, whoa, time out.
Whoa,
There's a
whoa, whoa, whoa,
cutoff.
whoa,
Like,
whoa, whoa.
like what you like, but some of you,
Put, put your grippers away,
nah,
okay?
I'm kidding though. But no, it's a great message, and I think it again the anime throughout really embodies that and keeps pushing that message along to viewers. Now going to the flip side though, was there
Mhm.
one moment in the anime where you had like a personal cringe? Like even like whether it was like an interaction between the characters or like an event that a character experienced or just like something that was said where you're like, ugh, this is too it's too like it hits too close to home and it makes you like writhe. You're like, oh no, I yeah, bad memory or
Um,
whatever.
well, when Borderlands 2 came out,
Oh, what a
a friend and
glorious
I,
time.
exactly, a friend of mine and I, he was on the West Coast, so he was 3 hours behind me, and I would finish work at midnight. So he
Ugh.
was like, because of his work schedule, he was essentially getting up, but he like had some sort of program where he worked from home. So essentially, we would stay up all night, and we mathematically figured it out that I could run on 6 hours of sleep.
Oh
So we
god.
could play Borderlands literally until I had to sleep so I could get up for work and still function. And
There
when what's his name there? Hirotaka is walking into work and he's in zombie mode, and he just like walks into the pole because he forgot his glasses, and he's just kind of like a wreck all day. He falls asleep at the coffee store. Like I've been there, and I was just thinking back, like it immediately flashed back to Borderlands 2 where it was like a Thursday, and so I had done 3 back-to-back days of 6 hours sleep.
Th-
And I was like, I was going into my days off because my day off was Friday, Saturday, and I was like, I want to play this game all weekend. I want to beat it, but I need sleep. And I just like I stumbled into my house 12:30, getting home from work, got changed, and I sat down at my computer and I literally fell asleep, and like the laptop was closed fortunately, but I was sleeping on it. And again, this is in the days before Discord, so my phone's going off with a Skype call, and I'm just like, no, go away. I don't know who you are. And it was my buddy, like, are we gonna play? Are we gonna play? Are we gonna play? And it was just like it.
You're like,
I don't know. It just resonated with me. I was like,
yeah,
no, I've been there.
the realization that even though mathematically speaking, it sounds good on paper, in practice was one of the
No,
probably the
don't do
worst
it.
decisions. Yeah.
Yeah, 7 to 8 hours, kids. 7 to 8 hours.
My moment was there was a handful, I think. I think when they go to animate to go manga shopping is a
That's
funny one.
right. Yes.
And definitely a moment where I'm just like, I know there was certainly a moment where I went off on my own when my wife and I were in Japan, like shopping for manga. I was looking for like cool JoJo's stuff or like shonen, like early Shonen Jump volumes, and I'm trying to find her, and I'm like, I have to navigate through the BL area, and it's just like, oh, it's like a whole other universe. I go in and I'm just like, oh, it's like the scene from SpongeBob where they're on the ship, wow, with the Flying Dutchman ship, and like
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
the perfumes getting sprayed at them. That was me like dodging, like navigating
Dodging
through like a
BL
whole bunch
covers.
of women with BL, and I'm just like, oh gosh, so oh everything's wrapped. Oh my god, yeah. No, it's funny. And there was also a moment where uh Koyo, I can't remember her name. Konoyagi is talking with Kabakura, and she's like, just give BL a try, like read BL. And he's like,
Just
look,
try it.
it's
Just read it.
not my cup of tea. And she makes the Yuri comment, and he gets all angry. And then I think eventually he reads it, and he's like, it was perfect, but I know Like my wife has been like, just read this series, and I'm like, I'm sure it's great, I know, but there's gonna be a scene that's like a jump scare to me, and I'm just gonna get like I'm gonna get a lightsaber in my face, and it's just gonna be very jarring.
Be a youngling on Order
Yeah,
66.
no, do not execute Order 66, please. Um, I think, but for me, the most like the moment where I was like, yeah, that hits too close to home. It's a little cringy. Was when the Hirotaka and Momose are at the park, the theme park, and they're doing like it's like the equivalent of a swear jar, but it's like the otaku
Yes,
jar,
I was going to bring this up earlier.
where they cannot make any references to or talk about anything otaku related. And like the first thing that Momose says is like, she points out two guys, they're waiting in a queue, and then she points out two guys that have like each have one earbud in. She's like,
And they're really
oh,
close.
she's like, oh, do you think it's like a budding BL? And he just holds up the piggy bank and goes, bankin, and like penalty basically. And
Yeah,
she's
yeah.
like, ah.
She's like, I didn't even say it. I was just looking
I
at
was just
it.
looking. Yeah. I was like, I know there have been moments. I know there's been moments because we did a whole. I made a TikTok with my wife on it where I'm like, we make too many like weeb type anime jokes when we were going to like Disney and other theme parks and stuff. Because there was one moment where we were waiting in line. For any of you who are unaware, we're also, my wife and I are big Disney people, so we go a lot every year. But we were waiting in line for the Buzz Lightyear Starship Trooper ride. It's the one where you're like
Okay.
in a little cart
You shoot the laser?
and you shoot the lasers. Yeah.
Okay.
So there's a giant Buzz like towards the end of the queue, like animatronic one, right? This motherfucker got yowie fingers. I'm talking massive long digits, okay? And I made that joke, and so my wife was like, "Well, this has to be a TikTok now." And we did a whole TikTok thing, and I'm like, yeah. And then when she makes that comment about the two guys and he holds up the little piggy bank, I'm like, I feel like we have to start doing that.
I feel
But
personally targeted.
but it's gonna be chock full of coins at the end of the day, because all we're doing is making like references to anime or like very otaku type conversations throughout all of our trips. So I was like, no, that's too close. That's too close. I think my last question, and then we can leave it off for like just general conversation on closing thoughts. But it, with Wotakoi only being 11 episodes and there not being any more in the future, right? Even though the mangas,
There's 3 OVAs.
yeah, there's 3 OVAs, but like it's still like, as a season, you're like, wow, it feels kind of unfortunate that
Yeah.
they do them as OVAs, right? But
Yeah.
for just a pure single season, was there one thing that you really wanted to see happen that just never came to fruition?
I wanted, like, as I do with any show that deals with romance, I don't understand why there is this concept of not being like super blatantly obvious with your feelings and how you care about someone.
Everyone
I
is
know
tsundere.
exactly. So like,
Everyone has to be too aloof with their feelings.
well, like at the end of the Disney World episode, like Hidotaka like leans in, and I was like, oh, that's beautiful.
It's gonna happen.
No, he's just like, show me your earrings.
It's just a
And
big
I'm like,
hug.
yeah, and a big hug. And I was like, man, come on, just be like, I really like spending time with you. You're my favorite person. Let's be together forever. Smooch. Can I have that? No.
People are.
I have to watch stuff that's different.
People are listening and like, these guys are fucking pervs. They just want them to kiss and bang.
They want hand holding and kissing.
Gross.
Yes,
Not in my anime.
Give me the hand holding.
No, I agree. I think, but that's like almost every type of romance. It's a slow burn, right? Like the end result is usually something monumental, where it's like they get married, or like you see them like a big, time skip in the future, and like they have a family now, right?
Yeah,
So
I
you're
almost
like,
spoiled a show that finished a season I was like, oh yeah, in this.
No.
No. Yeah, exactly.
No.
Yeah,
Yeah,
people would have been
especially
really
not
angry.
that one. Don't do that one. Yeah, people would have
Nope.
rioted.
I would have dead.
Purely just gone. Um, like I I appreciate like a slow burn, but there has
Yes.
to be like
A payoff.
you want to see some progression in a relationship, right?
Show me results.
Uh, yeah,
What's
to your word. The
Bakuman? There's the anime called Bakuman, and it's about an anime about making manga, and it's like
oh yes, yes,
4
yes.
seasons, and you get a payoff really early with one couple, and they're the lovey-dovey couple. They're the couple who's always like in each other's arms and like getting caught in these scenes, and then you have like the Komi can't communicate kind of couple.
Oh,
Um,
it's just
and which exactly, and you spend like a full 2 seasons like, come on, do something, and then like it does pay off. But again, like I had a little bit of a treat and I had to wait for the cake. That's fine. But this show just the whole time is like, you're gonna have to wait.
yeah, you're gonna just patience is a virtue. Um, I think the only anime like romance anime that I've watched in recent where you get like a surprise like whoa that was much more than I thought is my love story with Yamada-kun at level 9,900 or 999 9,999 whatever uh where the last episode you're just like wow did not anticipate that but you know kudos claps round of applause like this is great because then you now you get to see like how things are going to evolve in the eventual next seasons, right? Whereas with a lot of the other ones I love, like I mean, my top one, The Dangers in My Heart, um, like Comey Can't Communicate, as you mentioned. Um, even one that I personally enjoy, Hokkaido Gals are super adorable. Like
Oh yeah.
all of those have like, there's like a moment. There's a moment where you're like, okay, this is great. You see the relationship evolve, but it doesn't give you that like the sense of comfortability because you're like it wasn't enough to make me reassured that they're going to like be a couple even right now most of those I've read all the way through so I'm like I know but it's still like when you're watching it you're like we haven't nothing's been finalized the right like the contract isn't signed like
Contract?
I'm trying to make like you know metaphorically speaking right but like there's not enough there that gives you this sense of comfortability knowing like okay they're gonna be a couple there's like it's like
Mm-hmm.
okay they started kind of in an indirect way telling each other that they might have feelings for one another but you're like but that's not enough what if someone new jumps into the picture and spoils it
An old childhood friend.
like Hokkaido Gals are super adorable right or any type of like harem type series right like having that sense of like unease where you're like
Mhm.
nothing is progressed enough to where you can definitively say yes they're going to be together they're going to be a couple and now we get to see how they grow as partners it's like oh god something could happen because they haven't shared their feelings with each other yet I'm so nervous right you don't get that with Wotakoi I would say
Nope.
because
Yeah.
again both couples are couples like well the Kabakura and Konoyagi are already together, right? Which you find out, but they've been together for a little bit.
Yeah.
But with Hirotaka and Momose, like they become a couple first episode. So you're like, okay, cool. They're a couple,
Fresh.
great.
Yeah.
But you still have all those moments of like, do they really think they're in a relationship? How are they going to navigate this relationship? Because she's never dated an otaku and he's never actually really dated someone. Like, how are their personalities really going to mesh? I know they're childhood friends, but what's that going to mean in a romantic sense, right? So like, you still
It's
have all
been
those.
20 years. Yeah.
It's been 30 years, but there's like all that spiraling around too. So yeah, no, I agree. Obviously, with the OVAs and if you've read through the manga, which it's only 7 volumes, I think. It's not a long series by any means. I want to say
No.
it's only 7 or 8. You could be my Frank in this case. I always
11.
it's 11? Oh, I was way off then.
Yeah. Well,
11.
if we include the OVAs, it's 11.
Okay. The OVAs with
Like the OVAs are taken from the 7th, 10th, and 11th manga volumes.
got it. Yep. Okay. That makes sense. Yeah. So I mean, it's not like a long series by any means. Komi Can't Communicate is like I don't even know how many volumes now. It's got to be in the mid to high 40s now, at least in English. There's a lot. There's a shit ton for Comey, it feels like, right? So like that series gone on for a while. Dangers in My Heart has a significant amount of volumes already too, right? So there's those that like already it's going to be a longer time before you get to the payoff. So no, I 100% agree.
I think.
I think my personal like I don't want to say gripe, but the one thing I really wish for is more backstory with characters. Because we get like,
Yes.
you get the flashes of like Kabakura and Konoyagi when they're in high school and like how they clashed, like they were constantly at each other's
Yeah.
throat. And it's like, oh, it'd be cool to like know the moment that they started dating. And you kind of get like, there's like a brief snippet where they like show when it kind of happened, but it doesn't like, I don't think it tells it to you in like a contextual or like even like a time period, like timeline wise. Like, was it when they started working together? Was it beforehand? Was it just after university or high school? Was it during university somehow? Right? Like, you don't
Exactly.
really know. You just know at some point they started dating, and you know that they were always. That's why they're always like bickering with one another because that's just what they were like when they were together and like when they were friends in high school, or I guess not friends, enemies more likely in high school, right? And then you get those like flashed moments with like Hirotaka and Momose when they're kids, like much younger. You get more moments with Hirotaka like when he's slightly older, going through like his how can I get noticed? Like
Yeah.
how can I be someone that she'll, you know, look at as more than just a friend phase, right? Which was it was nice to see. I thought that was very important for his backstory. We don't get really anything for Now or Naoya, his brother, right? And we don't really get anything from Momose either, like just like a true flashback from her perspective, right?
Yeah, because the flashbacks, like the one main flashback I'm remembering is like when Now talks about like being interested in Ko, and he's like, "Oh, it's just back like when we used to play games all together." And
Yeah,
Now is sitting in between Momo and his brother, being like, "Oh yeah, I'm part of it." But like,
yeah,
I think like in the grand scheme of things, if we were to like hype up and get everyone together and do a second season, which I know will never happen, but I think that could be a really powerful thing because like a lot of the time with some of these shows you're introduced to the characters and you're like, this is who they are now. And if you want to get that more context, that more development, it's usually those more niche series that maybe do get 24 episodes, then they're gone forever.
yeah.
Or in some more cases, it is those manga that run for 48 volumes and then you never see them again because they aren't popular enough. So it's one of those fine balancing acts where like again, we're two guys saying yes, we want it, but the studio was probably like, it didn't make the money we wanted on Blu-ray sales.
Yeah, it could be that. It could be as simple as we didn't think it was going to fit into a single season, so we chopped it up into OVAs
Yep.
instead, right? I but regardless, I think that having those moments cuz like would I have loved for them to explore the relationships more? Yeah, like Naoya and Ko at the end where basically we only get them for the last like episode and a half. Like that was adorable. Love that. Would like to see more of that too, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
We saw significant growth obviously for Hirotaka and Momose throughout the entirety. And then we saw like little splashed moments with Kabakura and Konoyagi too, right? As their relationship continues to deepen with one another since they've been together the longest out of those other four characters. But it's like I want to know more about the backstory and like how we got here too. Because
Yeah.
I feel like that they had those again brief moments throughout some episodes, but I really wish there was, and I don't honestly wish for this a lot. This is honestly like my biggest annoyance with shows like Demon Slayer when they do this. Different context though, because they do it in like middle of fights, like 3 times for some reason. But in something like this where it's slower paced, it's romance, so you want to know more about the characters themselves, right? And how they got to this point in their life. Like that's where I really look for more backstory, more like get a better understanding of who they are and
Yeah.
how they've grown to who they are now, right? Um so I think that was probably the biggest thing that was missing from this. All those everything said and all that aside, I still highly recommend this personally. I
Agree.
I think we can gab about it plenty more, but I think we've said plenty for what is effectively only an 11 episode season, again with 3 OVAs. Um, but for 11 episodes, it does it fairly well, I would say, in terms of the romance workplace. I love the humor in it. If you're a big otaku person as well, like not just in anime, but like if you have an appreciation for manga, if you have appreciation for collecting like figures or cards or whatever the case is, if you like playing video games, if you like going to conventions, right? Cosplaying. It's got all those things in it for you. So there's some level where you can connect with. I feel like you can enjoy it more and definitely get a lot of those inside jokes too, or like the what's the phrase that I'm thinking of? Inside baseball, right?
Yep. Yep.
Those level of jokes that are told.
Oh yeah.
There's a lot of references to other series like anime and manga series as well as video games too, which you can always just be like, hey, I know that. I get that reference.
Yeah.
So
Or they were clearly playing like, what were they playing in the house? Bomberman? It was either Bomberman or Smash.
I think they were
Because
playing
like
Smash.
because they were like, oh, that's a good beginner character. You should be really good
Well,
with him.
yeah, well, they were also playing Mario Kart because they brought out like the old Wii like
Yeah.
steering wheel things too, which I was like, I know what those are. So there's like nostalgia. Um, but yeah, this is a wonderful one. Even if you're not big on romance, I think the workplace comedy aspect can draw you in. If you are big on the romance, I think this does enough to like satiate the appetite, we'll say. It doesn't really like give you a fulfilling ending for the 11 episodes in terms of like the romance side of things, but it's enough to where you're like, that was fine. I'm okay. I might need to go elsewhere for some more romance, but this was enough to kind of calm the hunger. Like,
Of course.
but I do truly think that this is one where almost any anime fan should watch. And as Drew mentioned at the beginning, if you can watch it with your partner or a friend or someone that has that level of connection with the mediums as well, makes it all the more enjoyable because you can have those moments where you look at each other and you're like, that's us.
That's you.
That's what we
Yeah.
do. Yeah. So I would probably give this, if I had to give it a rating, I would give it probably an 8 out of 10,
Hey,
seven and
I
a
was
half,
thinking
8
an
out of
eight as
10.
well. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was thinking closer like to a whole 8 rather than doing a half, just only because like again, our shortcomings are we want more story, we want more payoff, we want hand holding, and the show just it tried. But again,
Yeah.
like that's our job. We're here to nitpick and poke at things. But again, love it, recommend it. Definitely do yourself a favor and watch it.
Drew, I'm gonna say one last thing.
All right.
It's love is hard for an otaku, and
It
I
is.
think the show truly exemplifies that. So, but what's not hard is following our socials for more content in the future and liking this show if you haven't already. And we really appreciate you following and listening to us ramble on about all of our favorite anime. If you want to keep up with us, like I said, please follow us on our socials. You can find us everywhere online at Bakacopodcast. You can also find us at our Discord where you can interact with us. We are on almost daily, at least one of us is. We have members across seas that'll also contact you throughout the day as well.
Yeah.
So it is a 24/7 hub for anime, manga, and everything else in between.
And
So
memes.
and yes, the memes channel needs to be switched at some point because it's just becoming a dumpster fire of pictures. But But yes, if you listen this far, again, we greatly appreciate it. We will be back in the new year with plenty more. So until then, take care, everyone. Happy holidays. Enjoy time with your family, friends, and loved ones. And we will see you all next time. Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone. Have a wonderful new year.